Hey guys, so I read an article, or I saw a headline about the Great Awakening, and that pretty much what the author was saying is that there were some Christians at the time that were critiquing and kind of criticizing the movement at the time, and it's kind of funny because and the author's point was think of all that those Christians missed out on. And of course, we know in hindsight that the Great Awakening was definitely a movement of God. We can see that from looking at history. And so I think as Christians, we're notorious for missing revival when it's right in front of us. We're notorious for praying for revival, but missing it when it's right there. And I think there are a lot of reasons for that that I could give, but I think a lot of believers, we are so used to being wrong and let down by things and being deceived by frauds, and we see a lot of that going on. And so the pendulum almost swings in the opposite direction, to where we have this culture that just doesn't celebrate anything. We're critical about everything. And whenever a movement of God happens, we pick it apart, we analyze it, we study it, and as soon as we find one thing we don't agree with, or even a couple of things we don't agree with, or maybe some bad theology in there somewhere, which any movement of God's always going to be messy. Always, because it's full of fallen people, sinful people. And so maybe instead of trying to pick apart and finding something wrong with it, and we should always be discerning. All right, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be discerning, but why not take advantage of an opportunity where God's at work and look to join God in that work, even if there are things going on that may not be 100% correct, because it's never going to be. All right, anything involving sinful people is never going to be 100% perfect. And so as believers, let's stop with this having to pick things apart and either in ignoring things or blasting things or fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, instead of saying, you know what, God's at work here. And people are talking about Jesus, whether it's the Asbury revival. I saw people pick that thing apart of course you're going to find things in it where you can say, aha, that's not right, aha, that's not revival. Well, but it's still obviously God at work. Or even the Chosen. I'm seeing people pick apart the show The Chosen right now. And I'll be honest, I've enjoyed the series so far. I think it's great. Obviously, there are liberties taken. The show doesn't pretend that that's not the case. But instead of picking it apart, can we say, you know what? Let's all agree to the fact that people are talking about the Gospels and are talking about Jesus right now. Let's take the opportunity to spread the gospel and to point people to the Scriptures. So as believers, let's not miss opportunities in revival and a movement of God right in front of us. And let's say, hey, these are God moments, and let's expand the kingdom here. Let's take advantage of the fact that people are actually drawn to God right now, even if the process isn't exactly perfect, or for a lot of people, just be honest, it's just not your preference. Let's take the opportunity to spread the love of Christ. You guys have a good day.